This week on A7. Why we attract what we're afraid of. Welcome back to the Human Curriculum, where we explore the lessons life keeps placing in front of us, not to punish us, but to reveal who we truly are beneath the noise. Today we're diving into a big one. Why do we attract what we're afraid of? Why do the same patterns, people, or situations keep circling back, even when we swear we're done with them? Let's talk about what fear is. Fear is a magnet. Fear as a frequency, not a feeling, just as you change the channel on your TV. You're looking for the right frequency. We can use this logic to understand what fear is. Fear isn't just an emotion. It's a broadcast signal. Whatever we fear, we unconsciously track. The nervous system scans for what feels familiar, not what feels healthy. Fear creates a kind of energetic magnet, not because we want the thing, but because we are oriented toward it. Fear is like a spotlight. Wherever we shine it, we accidentally say, "This is important, pay attention." Humans are wired to repeat what's familiar, even if it hurts. The psyche prefers predictable pain over unpredictable safety. We attract what matches our old emotional training, not our current desires. You can frame it like this. Your system isn't sabotaging you, it's repeating what is learned in order to keep you alive. Familiarity feels like safety, even when it's not. Fear creates cognitive bias. We interpret neutral events through old stories. Fear lives in the body, and the body pulls us toward what it knows. Emotional memory is stronger than logical intention, and fear is a threshold guardian. What we fear often marks the doorway to our next evolution. The souls use repetition as initiation. The real reason we attract what we fear is not because we're manifesting wrong, it's not because we're broken, and it's not because the universe is testing us, but because fear shows us where we are still unclaimed, where fear reveals the parts of us that haven't been integrated. And fear brings us face to face with the version of ourselves we're becoming. You can say what fear is often the exact thing that would free us if we met it from sovereignty instead of a survival. Now let's join the A7 panel for this very interesting and introspective discussion. Thanks for watching. All right, welcome everyone to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway. It's good to be with you tonight. Hey everybody, look at this, 2 weeks in a row. Woo woo, love it.
I love that video. That was excellent.
You like that?
Yeah,
it turned out really well. I was really pleased with it.
It puts a whole new paradigm on this
Doesn't
subject.
it? It's good to have you with us tonight, Theresa. We've got Grandpa Brian and Sophia picking up the rear there. Hey, girl. It's good to have you with us. First of all, let's go ahead and see who's in chat. Let's say hello to everybody. Hi, Steve. Good to see you. Hope you had a great Friday. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're looking forward to the episode. Right on. Scotty boy, it's been a while. How the heck are you? It's good to have you in the chat. Hope all is well. Hope you got through the snow and all that up there in Truckee. Beautiful place to live. Love it. All right. And then let's see. Deja Lu Designs. Hola, hola. ¿Cómo estás? It's good to have you with us.
Wonderful. Oh, there's Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Dragon. Hi, Nick.
Take care, Jasmine. Yeah, everybody, the adorables, Jasmine and Nick couldn't join us tonight. Jasmine's not feeling well, but hey, wish her a happy birthday. She's got a big birthday coming up tomorrow. So wish her a happy birthday and send her lots of healing and love, okay? It's really important. Yeah, hope you feel better. Right on.
Hey, Brother
Well,
Lucky.
oh, is Lucky in here?
Lucky. He's feeling lucky, right?
Oh, okay. I don't see Lucky Stone. But hey,
Yeah.
just a quick comment for Lucky. I love what you're doing on your show. Keep it up. Good job over there.
Yeah.
And I know you have a show with Lucky Brian tomorrow night. Do you want to talk about that a little bit real quick?
Yes. We're doing a show on solving problems with new thinking. You can't solve the problem with the same mind that created it.
I like that. That's the open-mindedness. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Keep an open mind. Yep. Because you can change your opinion about anything. That's for sure. Awesome.
I think it's more of trying to get people to look at things from a different perspective.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Yes, most definitely. I agree with that. Well, tonight we are talking about why we attract what we're afraid of. If you didn't catch the video in the very beginning, go back and take a look at it. It's worth the look. It's worth the look-see. But I wanted to start the show with a very famous quote from Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was the 32nd president of the United States. And this was back, FDR delivered this quote during his first inaugural address on March 4th, 1933, to reassure the American public during the height of the Great Depression. And it's fascinating because I used to talk to my grandmother about the Depression and how they saved everything. It was quite interesting. But this is his quote, "So first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance." We're talking about the kind of fear that we don't want to give any meaning to. Now, there's a healthy fear and there's an unhealthy fear. So we're talking about the kind that you attract that can paralyze you, that can, give you the perception that you're anticipating some type of loss or uncertainty. We really, when you come into an awakening and an ascension process, one of the biggest things you learn about is how to control your emotions. And controlling your emotions includes controlling the fear that you have, and not to default to fear, but to recognize that it is fear.
Yeah, that's the key. Recognizing that you're fearing something and you don't realize you really are.
So you attract what you fear mostly because your subconscious mind focuses intently on it. So, and you're also making it, whatever it is, a priority of your thoughts and your actions. So it's an intense focus of your energy, often stemming from deep-seated beliefs, low self-esteem, frustration, a sensation of some type of failure or lack, all of which the law of attraction suggests turns negative focused emotions into the manifestation of your reality. It's almost an automatic reflex, and we sometimes do it without even realizing we're doing it. And so when someone calls us out on it, we could even get more frustrated and jump into a defensive mode and denial.
Oh, I've never heard that.
So tonight we're talking about that, the familiar versus the alignment, or the aligned. So humans are wired to repeat what's familiar, even if it hurts. The psyche prefers predictable pain over unpredictable safety. And we attract what matches our old emotional training, not our current desires. Yes. So I know that we are all human and we've all experienced that kind of fear that kind of cripples you in a way. And I've had a lot of this when I was first starting my business. I would second guess myself. I would be like, oh, I have to go to the city and I have to do this, but I'm never going to make it. Or I don't have this, or I don't have what I need. And I kept putting these limitations on myself, and in a way, kind of boxing myself in. And all I really needed to do was just meet each challenge, take care of each thing that needed to be taken care of. And eventually I got my license. Eventually I got my insurance and all the things I needed, my fictitious firm name. I'm just using this as a general example. But I found ways to just meet it instead of allowing that fear to just take over my emotions. And so I think tonight that's really what we're discussing here, is that, you know, that fear lives in the body and it pulls us down towards what it knows. And it's just more of a logical intention of recognizing the emotion. Ah, that's fear, or ah, that's doubt, or oh, that's anger. So if you can kind of point the finger at it, you're kind of calling it out in a sense. And so I think that's very important to know and to reflect on, especially in an awakening or an ascension, or just every day you want to improve. You want some self-development. You don't want to walk around in complete and utter total fear. And there are times when you want to be afraid, where it's, you know, fight or flight, that kind of a situation, because that's exactly what fear is made to do, and that's to protect us. But sometimes it's overused and it's a default mechanism. And what I'm trying to do is find a way not to default to those types of emotions. So any kind of negative emotion limits us. And that's why it's so important to try to stay positive and above board, always finding what's good about the situation and not what's always bad about it, because it's so easy to fall into that what's bad about it, because you can just go off. But how many can actually use the positive and say, well, what's good about it? Well, for me, I learned what's good about it is I took control over my emotions. I didn't let it get the best of me, and I went ahead and continued to make the strides and do the things I needed to get where I wanted to be. And so I didn't let that affect me that way. And I've recognized it, but it's not easy. It's not easy for people. And you might know somebody that's going through it right now, or they're dealing with it. Maybe share this episode with them, but there's a way to understand fear that doesn't totally cripple you and want to just take over your life. You've got to take responsibility for your actions, your emotions, and that, what I like to say, that emotional maturity. It's really, really important. And you've got to work on it. Theresa, I know you've kind of dealt with a lot of this. What say you about this topic, and what do you think about it, and how have you changed your life and gotten past some of the fears that you had?
Loaded question. Actually, I love the topic because it's going
Awesome.
at it at a different angle,
Mm-hmm.
different perspective, a little bit deeper than we've ever talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've talked in general about fears and the emotion of fear and how it controls us.
Mm-hmm.
But it's taken me just until recently, an understanding that, hi, Charles, and a bunch of people have jumped in. Elderberries here. Fear, I like what you said in the video about it being a broadcast signal for attraction. Because the laws of attraction work in mysterious ways. And I didn't know for the longest time that I had any fear. And I'm going to give an example of what Laurie's talking about here, how we keep inviting in the same thing. There's a certain amount of conditioning that we experience. We condition ourselves into that, what we think is a comfort zone. I've taken great pride in my life as a manager, a director, a business executive, a business owner. So have you. And both of us have a very high standard of quality. And we put a product out there or a service out there, and we expect to deliver on it to please our client base. And so I have the same programming for my expectations of when I purchase something or hire a service, I expect quality. And I have expectations that are in alignment with the way I live my life when I'm servicing others. And so when that expectations aren't met, I immediately go into my comfort zone, which is to bitch. And I will call those people out. Yes, I will call those people out, and I will say, "Hey, I spent $100 on this, and you didn't deliver."
Yeah.
And I'll get frustrated and set off. And when you're around, it's kind of fun because when you're fun and not, because when you're around, you'll call me out on that, and you'll say, "Why even go there? Why are you so upset? It happened. You can't control it. Let it go." But no, 2 days later, I'll still be bitching about it. And I will get my money's worth.
Yeah.
You see, I'm that kind of person because I have had clients that I need to keep happy. And I know that they have certain expectations and I want to deliver a quality product or a service. So I feel justified. And here's the thing about the communications array. As soon as you let yourself into that mode of justification, I want justice. I feel perfectly justified in my anger. Don't call me on my anger, Laurie. It's not anger. And you're like, no, it's fear. It took me a while now, a couple of times with a couple different things during this move to realize that I had fear of failure, fear of not getting what I wanted, fear of something breaking down later. I'm projecting all these negative things. And so I'm putting my whole frequency into a negative vibe. And I didn't recognize it as a fear-based thing. I thought I'm perfectly normal. You're the one that's not normal if you're not upset when you don't get something that you thought you should get. So I'm not the one being it. But what it is, it's not about normality. It's about that comfort zone because I was lived that life for so long that became my pattern. And that's just one example. There's other things, you can go on and on with this. Different things in your life that you don't really know you've programmed yourself that way. And so you feel, I'm proud.
Justified.
Perfectly justified. And so you don't release, let it go, and start waking up to the fact that you've got some pent up frustrations and hostilities that you didn't realize you had. And because it's like a domino effect. It sets everything like a snowball out of control. So anything that comes down the pike, whether it's a relationship issue with someone, or a service issue, or it could be an illness in your body, you start going back to that same pattern of justification, and things don't change for the better, and things get progressively worse, and you can make yourself sick, or you can put yourself in a negative mindset for like weeks. Go ahead.
You can feel fear very physically in your body. And when you get that, it's like the adrenaline, and it is adrenaline. Adrenaline just shoots through your body and you just immediately feel crippled by it. And so how do you stop that feeling? How do you get to that point where you're like, I need to get above this. I don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want this to be like that. But it takes work, and you have to recognize the emotion of it and call it out. Dang it, fear. That's enough. I don't want any more of that. I'm tired of that. I've had a lifetimes of that stuff. And I just realized in this lifetime, I don't have to be that way anymore. I literally have a choice.
One last thing, and that I'm glad you mentioned that, because I have one last fear in this form can be like a wolf in sheep's clothing, because it's under the surface, always under the surface, because you haven't dealt with it, and it's a liar. It's a
Fear is
lie.
a liar. It lies
It's not
to you.
truthful that it's comfortable there.
Mhm.
And you just psych yourself into believing that through the excuse of justification or righteous behavior.
Mhm.
But what it does is it slowly, like a cancer, eats at the cells in your body, your
Mhm.
automatic responses to all your emotions.
It lowers
somebody
your
was-
immune system too.
Yeah, someone was mentioning aggression,
Mm-hmm.
anger, anxiety,
Scotty boy.
illnesses. It's all nested inside of this fear shell that you might not even know you've been utilizing or protecting. So now, this week, the past 2 weeks, or the past several days, actually, when
Mhm.
something isn't right, I'm catching myself because I'm aware of it now because you helped bring that out.
Mhm.
So I'm aware of the possibility that I'm overreacting or I'm reacting. Part of me still says I'm justified for 5
Yeah.
seconds,
Yes.
not for 5 days.
Uh-huh.
I'm justified. Okay, now what can I do about this?
Mhm.
By the way, I ordered some different light bulbs. Again.
Right.
So the thing is,
Inside joke.
Yes, an inside joke. And so the thing is you can put yourself into a more positive mindset about things by letting go of some of the old patterns and beliefs.
Mhm.
And then opening yourself to other possibilities. What's good about this? What can I do differently?
Mhm.
Okay, so this arrived. I'm not happy. I can return it, or
Mhm.
I can live with it and use it anyway in a different way. I mean,
Mhm.
just look at things from different angles, but it requires that you dig deep and look at yourself from different angles too.
Mhm. Yeah.
And admit, you have to admit to yourself
Yeah.
you've been living that way. So
Right. Yeah, I love that.
Anyway.
Steve Bowe says, when you feel it and acknowledge it for what it is,
Yes.
then you can release it and let it go.
Yes.
That's exactly right. And that's what we're talking about here. That
Absolutely.
you have this choice, this opportunity to change it. Yeah. What say you, Brian, about this topic? I know you've dealt with it as well. How do you deal with it? And how is it different from how you used to deal with it, as opposed to now, where you're more awake and more in touch with your feelings?
Learned that it was programming. I mean, you look at the world that we live in today. Look how much fear is on the news.
Exactly.
Look how much fear our government pushes at us.
Mhm.
Look at religion and what it says about fear. You know, the apocalypse is coming, or you're going to go to hell. You know, as a kid, you know, your fear was put into you by your parents. If you don't be good, Santa's not going to come and see you. Or, you know, there was other things that they said. So basically all your life, you've actually been programmed to fear. And, you know, YouTube, look at all the fear porn that's on YouTube, you know, with Planet X and comets coming in and people.
The sky is falling. The sky is falling.
Yeah. And when you got a lot of people that basically that's what they live for, to hear that fear, that you're constantly surrounded by fear. It's coming at you from all
And it
directions.
just feeds, it gets repetitive, it gains momentum, it gets bigger and bigger. And I know, not to impugn anyone that watches the news, because I think it's really smart to watch the kind of news that gives you information, and your discernment is what allows you to let in what you want to let in and what you don't want to let in, and that repetitiveness. But at least you have a choice over what you're viewing. So I see your point to that, Brian.
Yeah, and I was just getting ready to say, you have to use your discernment when these topics are coming up or this stuff is presented to you. The one fear I had to get over, and I didn't realize that until you said something earlier, doubt. Doubt is probably one of our biggest fears.
Yes.
And I know there are some people that they're afraid of success.
And sometimes the biggest fear that you have, it doesn't manifest. Sometimes the very fear you're afraid of doesn't happen. Something else happens.
Exactly. So for me, it was the doubt. You know what I'm saying? And once I got over all that doubt, that fear that I couldn't do it, or I doubt I could do this or do that, just that
And that's
mindset. And that's what it
that's what
was. It
builds
was change.
confidence.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
changing the mindset
Mm-hmm.
of I don't have that doubt because I know I can do it. So I'm letting go of that fear.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're able to start releasing the fear, it becomes easier and easier and easier because it's not
So
piling
true.
up on you. You're just, like I said, just
You're transmuting it in a way. You're
yeah.
literally calling it out and going, okay. In fact, go ahead, Brian.
One of the best things I could say when you come across that fear, step outside yourself and become the observer. Why am I being afraid? What is there to be afraid of? And step outside yourself and look at it, being an observer of the situation, and why is this making you afraid? I think if you can do that, that will really help you get over it.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Yep. That you have a choice. How about you, Sophia? You can speak a lot on this. And I watched you sometimes fight that fear just coming on here and being a part of this group. And I experienced that with you. And I saw you work through it with determination and resolve. So
yeah. To answer like the question, why we attract what we're afraid of is 110%. What's up, Charles? Cool. 110% natural law. What we think about, we bring about. That's the law of mind. That's the law of attraction. And kind of like Brian said, it is a very challenging thing to face it and then start injecting the truth, because we've heard it before. Fear is false evidence appearing real. I've heard it put that way before. And it's an allowance too. If you allow yourself to fall into fear when life shows up, there are many times when I'm getting ready to do like a big public event and then the nerves and everything starts going. And it's just like sometimes I like out loud, I'm like, quit it. And then I start doing the affirmations and building myself back up.
Yeah.
So I think it's healthy, like you said, Laurie. It's part of our, makeup to protect ourselves. But it putting the truth to it, I think, is where
it's illuminating.
Right.
It's illuminating. Right. Once you're aware of the cycle or the pattern, or that you are experiencing it and you acknowledge it, then as Charles says, everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. So once it's been illuminated, it just makes things a whole lot easier to navigate. I feel a whole lot better these past couple of days now that I'm navigating through that. I'm not as...
You have that awareness now.
Yeah. I'm not as tense.
But you really, you fought it.
Yeah.
Because your body was like, no, this isn't comfortable.
Yeah.
You fought it.
Right. Right.
So my question to Sophia is, how do you overcome that to a point where you don't default to that anymore?
Surround yourself, if you have the luxury, and I do, and I'm very grateful for all the beautiful souls that are in my life, surrounding yourself with a healthy sounding board, when push comes to shove. I mean, self-edification, obviously, and not leaning on people to the point of codependency, but it's a lot of minding our inner dialogue, because what we think about, we bring about 100%. And if we're thinking about success and taking actions towards success, then success is what's going to unfold. But if we're tearing ourselves down and making something bigger or more toxic for ourselves, it's a poor cognitive skill, in my opinion. But we're that way for a reason. A lot of what I navigate comes from post-traumatic. I mean, we're the way we are for a reason. My brain reacts that way.
Trauma.
Right.
Especially childhood trauma that really shapes who you are in the future. And it gets embedded.
And I think, again, that's why when you find your tribe, kind of like this, and the shop, and, here at camp, we're not meant to experience and unfold things on our own. And just finding those trusted people, those closed mouth people, that will edify and remind you and be like, because I do that too sometimes. So Eleanor and Amanda and my very, very Carly, they're like, seriously, dude, what is your problem? we don't see what you're saying. And it's just like the grip of fear over time. If you look it in the eye, it just slowly, releases
and dissolves.
And it's possible.
This is interesting. So do you recognize this in others now that you're aware of it? Do you pick up on it more in others when they're like that?
I do. And I offer if I'm allowed to, because I respect people's spaces. But if somebody asks me, it's just kind of like sometimes we need to be reminded how far we have come, in this process, how we've changed in order to allow ourselves in that moment to be like, oh, they're right, or like here we go. Here's a perfect example.
Okay.
This is the shadow that goes back to 2011. And I'm not suggesting camping in your journals or shadows or whatever you want to call it, but setting a timer and going back and being like, oh my, reminding ourselves, that we are capable of success, that what we were afraid of then didn't manifest. So if it didn't manifest then, why would it manifest now? But I don't know. It's a process of getting out of my way.
Yeah, you see it more of a compass?
Do what?
Do you see it more as a compass?
Reading my journal? Yeah, I would say it's just like I remember what it felt when I was writing those words, and to see my own hand and my own reservations, and then forward a couple weeks. It's just like my husband. I get so second guess myself. It's like, am I even doing the right thing? And he just kind of looks at me like, are we really having this conversation? And I'm just like, it's just like I don't know. I guess it's that I dealt with a lot of heavy shame as a child. And when you get shamed, you get the silence.
Yes.
And now Spirit's like, come on, let's go. And I want to default into my comfort, and that's being by myself. But that's silly.
Yeah.
It took decades to get past some of this stuff, that doubt and fear and guilt and all of those emotions. It really weighs heavy on the body and the psyche as well.
It can become very unhealthy if left unchecked. And again, that's why having a close friend, I mean, at least one, they can be like, dude, is it me?
Yeah, you start questioning yourself.
Just tracking. And I'm blessed with a fair amount of people that would be like, yes, it's valid. Keep talking. And then just allowing the process. Because I feel it's like we get stuck in that fear mindset, kind of like what GB was saying. And it's like, that's a choice. And is it serving you? And if it's not serving you, what's wrong with trying something a little different?
And I like what you're saying, Sophia, about the support aspect of things, because really support is everything, especially if you have psychic ability and you're connected to spirit. Aren't they the most incredible, loving, kind, supportive, like intensely compassionate, and just the warmest energy you ever can feel being here on earth? I know it's different when you're in spirit because you don't have the veil of forgetfulness. But when you're dealing with spirit on a psychic level and you got all this love and support from them, it's incredible. And so if you don't have that love and support, it could make things really difficult, and defaulting into something that's not allowing you to get past it without that support.
Right.
I mean, and that's why channels like this are really important. That's why
Yes.
we do these types of things, is to offer our support because of what we've learned. Don't you agree,
Right.
Brian?
Yes, but getting back to something that Sophia said,
Mhm.
you know, are you feeling comfortable living in your fears? Because if you're feeling comfortable living in them, guess what? You're going to keep attracting them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
But don't you think that it's possible that they're hidden, even from yourself?
Mhm.
I know a lady who contacts me periodically, and she keeps falling into the same pattern, complains about things in the same way, so that, my God, is everything in your life come down to this one pattern? And I'm like, yeah, it does. Relationships with guys, always the same gripe. So she keeps attracting the same men into her life and then evaluating them with all the others.
Same relationships.
Same
That
relationships.
string of emotional connection.
Yeah, and I don't think she even realizes that she's living in a state of, if I don't get a relationship of some kind, then I'll be alone. That's fear.
Or looking outside of yourself to have someone validate
who you are. So
when validation comes from deep within, you have to be able to validate yourself, or
Right.
it's important that you do that. You don't have to do anything, but validating
attracted
yourself.
to the same qualities and characteristics of this avatar.
Mhm.
And then going through the same revelations of dissatisfaction. And so it's repetitive and cyclical in her life. And I've seen it over and over and over. And her approach to healthcare is the same way. It's always the same problem, regardless of who the provider is or what type of health service she's getting. So it could be for her back, or it could be for her nerves, or it could be for her diabetes, or whatever it is she's experiencing physically. She has the same complaint. They won't let me. They're saying, I can't do this. I can't have this. And so she's constantly finding the same type of providers over and over and over.
The pattern and the cycle repeats itself.
Right. I would be like, let's try a holistic provider this time. Maybe they don't.
What
get
could you do
me.
differently?
What can you do differently? But instead of thinking outside of the box, they live in the box of the fear box that Laurie has in the background here.
Mm-hmm.
We have boxes and boxes and boxes of fear, but we don't know we're in fear. How do you find that out? How do you discover? And I had to have someone call it out to me repeatedly to figure it out. But how do you
regulate the body, not the story? Regulate the body, not the story of it. And then fear dissolves through nervous system safety, not mental logic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think it's the mindset. So if you're keep doing things with the same mindset, you're going to keep getting the same results.
Mm-hmm.
So like she said, you have to get outside that box. You have to start coming at it from a different mindset. And once you start coming from a different mindset, you'll see changes happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And maybe
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Maybe it's just Laurie and I were talking today. I have a family member who isn't happy about anything. She's only happy when she's unhappy. She looks for trauma. Mm-hmm. If there isn't any trauma going on, life is boring. So what do you do with yourself? What do you do with yourself? Well, maybe you could take up pottery. I don't know. Or cross stitching or something. Roller skating, snowboarding, whatever. But it's like they live in that.
They find comfort in it, and they
like
don't have any reason or want to change that. And
Right.
what we're talking about are the people that want to change how they feel
Mm-hmm.
and get above it. Right, Sophia?
Agreed. Because recognizing that you have a challenge is half the battle. A lot of people are just mindlessly repeating the same behavior and they're just content with, like Theresa said, just bitching their way through it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And when you get sick and tired of what not serving you, trying something else, a change in how did Terry Bryan put it? The change in situation begins with a change of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're tired of the same experience, taking different actions to promote a different outcome, it's metaphysics because you're moving energy in a different direction.
Yeah.
That's like it's a game of dice. Let's just, have no expectations, but I know enough to know this isn't right. So let's try this.
Yeah. Throw the dice.
Throw the dice.
I got a question for
What the hell?
Sophia.
No shit.
Sophia, when you started gaining control over fear and negative emotions, did you experience any physical representation of like an ascension symptom or things of that nature? Did you physically in your body feel it changing? And did you have any discomfort? Because ascension symptoms are real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a process. I can't emphasize that enough.
Mm-hmm.
Getting into a healthier mindset, and I'm still working on it. I don't think we ever arrive, but when you said that, it took me to like when I got my first level 1 Reiki. That attunement, that shift. For me, it was pretty gradual because I had a pretty wicked temper, and it finally, it sleeps, it's not dead.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
When I was more of an even mind, when that started to happen, I did feel different physically. And in my mind, because a change in my mind is what promoted my change in decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's kind of like it's cyclical, kind of like a roller coaster. It goes through phases, and there's days where I'll wrestle with it.
Yeah.
Wrestle with it. And sometimes we need to wear ourselves out with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just so you can like recoup.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, you're a Reiki master. How does
Sophia?
Yes, I am.
Yes, and Sophia, but being a Reiki master, what I wanted to know from your point of view is how getting into the energy healing and all of that, how did that help you with learning to restructure how you saw fear or negative emotions? Just that process of getting into energy healing.
Well, there again, in the beginning, before I had my first attunements, I kind of had doubts whether that energy could actually come out of me to be able to do that. Because I could feel when people worked on me, I could feel the energy coming to me. Once I got over that fear by the love and help of Jim, saying, this is in everybody, we all have this gift of just finding it inside of you. And then once I started going inside of me, then I realized that I do have this energy in me. And once I had that first attunement and the second attunement, before I even became a Reiki master, I had people that were Reiki masters said, "You're a Reiki master, aren't you?" I was like, "No, not." They're like, "Well, the energy that you work with, you're a Reiki master." And it just, because I put away all that doubt and that fear and embraced it, and it now just flows naturally through me because I just
You
allow
gain
it
the confidence.
gain the confidence and allowed it just to flow right through me.
Fascinating.
See, you said something about the ascension process.
Mhm.
That was another scary part of my life because,
Yeah.
when you start first ascending, you're going into the unknown. And
Yes.
then your friends and your family start, we don't recognize who you are because you're changing. And then
Mhm.
you start have that fear of feeling alone because now no one really understands you.
Mhm.
And then once you started progressing, look how we all met. And now we're like, wow, we're normal. We
Uh-huh.
found people. Why did I have that
Like
fear?
attracts like.
Yeah. Why did I have
Yeah.
that fear in the beginning?
Yeah.
And so afraid of this when there's other people doing the exact same thing that I was.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they had the same. I mean, did you have the same fear when you first started your ascension process? Like,
Yeah. It was
wow,
it was
what's this?
uncertainty. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I went through 10 solid days of flu-like symptoms, ringing in my ears. My skin felt every time I touched my skin, it hurt. And it took me a long time to get out of it. And when I went to my guide and said, "What is going on physically?" And he's like, "They're ascension symptoms." I'm like, "What is ascension symptoms? I don't understand this." Well, you're processing so much emotion
Yeah.
and you're changing mentally. So your cells, your body has to catch up with what your mind is telling the body, because the body has like a muscle memory of all these things that you've accumulated over time. And so there's a purge involved, and that is a real thing. And literally for 2 weeks, I felt like I had earmuffs on my ears. I couldn't hear things like normally. It was muffled, and that's the best way I could describe it. And it was real. I went through it. And so these you're doing so much introspection, so much work on yourself. And you're right, when it comes to family members and others and people that have known you in the past, and you're nothing like what you used to be, it's confusing to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, expect that, because that's exactly what happens.
Yep.
And then they don't believe it. And then later they come to realize what's happening, and then they accept it more and more. And then now they understand what the new norm is. So just you being you and how you are in the world is the example of how you want to be in the world. And that shows how you are handling your awakening. But it's really, really important to have the support and the love, because it's real easy to question yourself, like Sophia did.
Mm-hmm.
Am I really am I okay? I mean, I'm talking to dead people. I'm
Yep.
talking to spirits.
Yeah.
I'm connecting with higher realms. I'm having conversations with spirit.
Yep.
And there are a lot of people that think you're batshit crazy on this stuff.
Yeah. All my relations really helped a bunch
Mhm.
in the beginning of my process because I had guidance from Jim and Heather and got to actually physically meet other people that were advanced higher than me, but they went through this basically the same process I did,
Mhm.
which
Yep.
really helps.
Yeah, because it validates what you're going through.
Yes.
And so if you're somebody who's out there watching this and thinking you're the only one out there, you're not.
Yeah.
Figure it out. You're not. Find those like-minded people. Theresa, are you okay over there? You had a moment of something. Was there something going on with
I think
you?
Scotty passed out on his keyboard.
There was somebody on my porch, my kitchen window, and trying to get my attention. And then they weren't there, and then they were there again, and then they weren't there.
Is it Big Ed with the big check?
There's really nobody there.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Somebody was concerned about you in chat, so I thought I'd ask.
No,
you.
I was concerned about Scotty. He started to. He has if you take a look at his last comment,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's disappeared. So I just wanted to make sure he was okay.
I'm sure he's fine. He's just probably taken a little time out. Probably had a hard week, maybe a long day. Who knows? Yeah.
Get another vodka seltzer.
Yeah. So this whole thing about fear and getting a handle on it, don't box yourself in with fear. Call it out. Call it and tell it, take a back seat. It's almost like when you go through that ego death. It's the same type of thing, that you're dealing with. You're dealing with a part of you that's kind of dying off. You're not allowing that part of yourself to be that way anymore. So it does affect you, and it affects people around you. So yeah, it's fascinating. Anything more you want to say on that, Theresa?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, I do know that that everybody defines fear in a different way. And I used to say, well, I don't respond out of fear. I'm not driven by fear. I don't react because of fear. And then I come to find out what fear really is. And it's not just the fear of a car hitting you or burning yourself in the flame of fire or things that go bump in the night, when you're not used to spirit or
chalk it up to a negative emotion.
Yeah. So it has, yes. And so the digging that you need to do, or I needed to do anyway, I'm not telling everybody else what to do, is to start whenever you have a response to something that isn't favorable, just for an exercise. Do this every day for at least a week, and start taking just open a little notebook and start, I had this negative reaction to this situation. I don't know why. Okay. And then give yourself a 5-minute meditation and ask yourself, what would make me respond this way? And then if you do
this, we lost. Okay. You're fading in and out. There you go.
Sorry.
You're okay. No, you're okay.
Now?
That was really weird. Yeah, you're fine. Just a glitch.
Where did you get? I'm saying jot down every day for at least 5 days or a week the things that you're having a not so good reaction to.
Good idea.
And then you can start recognizing, you might start picking up on some patterns. And when you see a pattern, that might be a nudge from spirit that there's something cyclical in your life, and you can start evaluating yourself. Now, I'm not saying that everything that's a pattern is wrong or bad, but it's illuminating.
Yeah.
Because it tells you more about who you are. And
what's going on in your psyche.
But this is if you're wanting to make changes in your life but you don't know where to start. I mean, you don't know what's irritating you, or and once I started doing it, I was like, oh my gosh, there's 3 things today that were a potential trigger. We talk about triggers, and they're all fear-based, and I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
So fear was controlling me. I wasn't controlling fear. Yeah. And yet I take great pride in being able to do that. It's under the surface, so it sneaks up on you.
Yeah. And I totally agree with Charles that fear is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to look at yourself. I totally get that. And yes, Charles, I'm a big gamer. My sister and I love our games. We love our Xbox and we love our PS5s.
So, Robert Bauer is in the audience. Hey, Robert, how you doing, buddy? Long time no see. Fear is a projection of doubtful lack of
information. Exactly, I love that. That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Dig up the data on yourself, man. You dig data on everybody else, So dig up data on yourself. Why not?
Yeah.
You're the most interesting subject that's out there.
Yes, right? No doubt about it. I love that. That's awesome. Yeah. I'll tell you, when you are gaming, you have no fear. Think about that. When you game, you're the player, right? You're the one in control of the controls. You've got that controller in your hand. You're going to this destination, you're going to that. Okay, these guys come out of the bushes. Yeah, you take them out. But there's no fear. There's nothing to fear in that game.
And if you can have that kind of attitude in your day-to-day life, and kind of have that mindset, I think it really makes you have adjustments to how you react to fear. That's interesting, because really, when you think about it, having a lifetime, this is a dream. I mean, we really are dreaming right now. So treat it as a game instead of, why it's so serious and it's life and death matters. What's the worst that can happen? You're going to die? We never die. We never die. We're an infinite being. So you can't put that in your way. So it's like, it's just your perspective. It's how you look at it. And it really is amazing once you can conquer that certain amount of fear. And I'm talking about unhealthy fear, not the healthy kind of fear where, you got a car coming at you or something, that's understandable. But to control your emotions and your fear, that's what really makes a big difference.
I like this phrase that came up. It was a video I was watching on Awakening, and I jotted it down. This can be a very freeing exercise, this introspection on this and this discussion we're having today. If you can wake up to your own fears, if you know what they are, or find out what they are. It's also very freeing because on the other side of that fear, beyond the collapse of all mental structures, there is something amazing for you. And what's amazing for me is I haven't felt as happy, relieved, joyful, excited, comfortable in my own space for, I don't know, a decade.
Wow.
So it's just been very freeing.
I have to say this, Theresa, and I'm sure that others have noticed this about you, but your appearance has really changed a lot.
My appearance?
In the last year. Yeah.
Did I grow horns? Have I grown horns?
No, in a good way. You've got a brighter smile, your attitude, and it's obvious that you've lost some weight and you're feeling better about yourself, and you've got more control now over your lifestyle than you felt like you had in the past.
Yeah.
And I know those months prior to getting your new place was very difficult for you because you were in that kind of state of limbo, so to speak. You didn't have a home to go back to. You had left that. You put it all down on the cards, this is everything I've got. It better pan out.
Well,
but isn't it interesting? Let me finish. Isn't it interesting that you made it through it, that we all have made it through hard times, no matter what? We're always going to make it one way or the other, but it's the fear of not knowing how it's going to go. And that's where that faith comes in, and trust and knowing. How do you get past that? How did you get past that?
Months of purging. Deep soul searching, evaluating constantly, being reminded, and evaluating. And also I aligned myself with a very special someone who brings out the best in me. And, they say when you're in love, you glow. And when you find love for yourself, I think you start to glow. Your inner light shines through, and what you're probably picking up on is my inner peace, but it's happening because I have aligned myself with someone I trust and love explicitly, but I also love myself. And when you're shown love, or allow yourself to experience love, give yourself permission to love yourself enough to want to take the time to ask these kinds of internal retrospective questions, you get to know yourself, and then other aspects of your concurrent multiple lives, however you want to view this, or incarnations, or other avatar, other parts of yourself come together and integrate. And it makes you feel whole and complete. You don't need another person outside of you to feel whole and complete, but it really helps when you're in sync with that person and love that person deeply.
And
that helps.
I think Sophia does that too. I think she feels that way as well.
Mhm.
Don't you?
I do. I'm whole and complete as I am.
That's
and
right.
all of the beautiful souls
Yeah.
that I have in my life are just bonuses.
Mhm.
Big, beautiful bonuses.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
numerous bonuses. Yeah.
Yep.
And boy, for some of us, those latent abilities that we all have by who we are, by the nature of who we are as spiritual beings, having physical experiences and a physical reality,
Mhm.
we just become that much more intense. And what happens is I get more contact with spirits than I've ever had in my life, and
Yeah.
and I know how to react to them now and respond to them. I can help them as much as they help me.
Yes.
I can
Yes.
serve spirit,
Mhm.
just as spiritual masters and guides guide me.
Mhm.
I'm also experiencing things that they aren't able to in their realities, and so it helps them
Mhm.
continue on with their purpose of experience. It's all part of expansion of my own soul.
There's something very incredible about serving the light. Wouldn't you
Mhm.
agree, Sophia? When you
It's
serve
humbling.
the light? Yeah.
It's humbling. I feel
Yeah.
that I don't know.
Hmm.
I guess the fear I guess that I wrestle with now is different than what I wrestled with back in the day. But now it's my connection to source. It's not fearing that I won't be connected. It's
Mhm.
just I have a lot of respect for how I'm in service right now and
Mhm.
making sure that I'm bringing my best game to the table.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's where it is now,
Mhm.
Yeah.
is making sure I'm aligned and serving in the highest. And it's a process there too.
And when
Mhm.
it is a process, because when you aren't, you recognize it and you can self-correct.
Mm.
You
Mhm.
can shift. It doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't mean that I've arrived and here's who I am now. Yeah, but tomorrow I might be somebody else.
Mm.
That's
No.
exciting, you know? Woo!
Brian, do you serve the light?
Yes, I do.
And you take great pride in that, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Mhm. So no matter who you come in contact with during the day or who you're speaking to or who you're dealing with, you always come from a place of love and light, don't you?
Oh, yes. If you ask every customer that we go to how polite I am, I mean, I always introduce myself. Nice to meet you. What's your
Kindness.
problem?
Mhm.
As soon as we're done, the last thing I always say to them is, "I hope you have a wonderful day."
Mhm.
And 90% of the time, maybe even 100% of the time, I get that same response back because of what I'm putting out there and the energy that I put forth. By the time it's all said and done, that energy comes right back to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is an aspect of yourself. And so
Exactly.
you're dealing with it in that way. And I think
Hmm.
that's awesome. Yeah, just simple love and kindness for others, because that shows respect for the
Mhm.
other aspects of yourself. And
Yeah.
other people are aspects of you. If you look at the general population, that you've all been there at one time or another, dealing with the same things they've dealt with at one time or another. That impatient person in the store, in the grocery store. Get out of
Yeah.
my way. You're in my way.
Yeah. I,
You
I
know,
live. I live
I
by.
was next.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. No problem.
That's what I do now. It's
Have a
just like,
wonderful day. Yeah. I'm not in a hurry. Yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead. I'll
yeah,
wait. Yeah.
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 I try to live by philosophy is, show kindness to a stranger, because then when you show that kindness to that stranger,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to show kindness to another stranger, and then
Yeah.
they're going to show, and it's just like
Pass
a
it
snowball
on.
flip effect.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can just do a little acts of kindness to strangers,
So
and
you believe in the pay it forward.
Pretty
pay it
much, yeah.
forward, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't need anybody to pay it to me for me to pay it out.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
It-
I put the intent out there just by being kind to someone,
Mhm.
and I don't even hope, you know, it's their decision whether they want to be kind to a stranger or not. I can't force them to.
Yeah.
But I think if you can do that act of kindness towards someone, then as a total stranger, maybe it gives them the courage
Mhm.
to be kind to another stranger.
I tell you, that's why I love Nevada so far, even though I've had limited external exploration because of the weather.
Mhm.
The people here are incredible. You can be in the store and you might have 5 people that are trying to help you reach that item on that shelf, or you know, it's just people care so much about each other here. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
I
a
don't think I've
friendly place.
Mhm.
I think it has a lot to do with the sunshine because we get a lot of sunshine.
It could be.
And I've been on the East Coast where, 10 days straight it rains. And it's
Yeah.
like, hi, how are you? I don't talk to
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly. That's what I used to
think
put
the
up
sunshine
with.
has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, excellent discussion. So I think we're at the point here in the show where we like to tap into Sophia and the cards and
Oh,
see what spirits got to say, because I'm feeling like they got a lot to say.
all right. So, all right. How do we want to phrase the question for the cards? What do you think, Laurie? You're the boss.
Well, you can ask the question, why do we attract what we're afraid of? Why do we do that?
All right.
And I know we just spent a lot of time talking about it, but what does spirit have to say? And how do they want to frame it? Let's put it that way. How would spirit frame that?
Why we attract what we're afraid of. So the card that flipped out is the Prince of Wands. So this
Ooh.
would be, excuse me, a knight. Why do we attract what we're afraid of? I mean, we're talking about, excuse me, I had nerves.
Oh boy. You okay?
Yeah, it's normal. It's
Okay.
one of my features, I
Poor
suppose.
thing. You poor thing.
So why do we attract what we're afraid of? It's about, for me, this is about action because we're dealing with wands, but it's just I'm not on my A game tonight, guys. All right.
It's all good.
But I'm sober. Oh. Why do we attract what we're afraid of? The Prince of Wands. What do you guys get out of this picture? Why do we attract what we're afraid of? I guess to give
I
us an
see
opportunity.
the courage of the lion there.
Courage
There's
of the lion.
courage of the
Yeah.
lion.
Mhm. What's that stat? Is that a wand he's holding? That's the
Yeah.
wand?
Yeah. Have the courage to take control of your fears.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
what it says to me.
What it's telling,
Courage.
it's kind of like why we attract what we're afraid of. Well,
So that we can get stronger.
address it.
Yes.
We can't address it until it's right there. And dude's rocking a shield and a wand, and
Yeah.
the sun of optimism. So it's like when
Uh-huh.
we attract what we're afraid of, I would say that spirit is saying, take action, have courage.
A lot of protection from it. Yes.
Focus on the positive, because if we're afraid of something, there's balance. What is it? What's Nick going on? Let's see. Yeah.
If you don't want your fears manifested, they can't be fears. You have to be indifferent to the subject. That is the secret. Yes. Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
Yes, I remember. Excuse me.
Oh, you're getting the download, aren't you?
Yeah. So, Sophia, in alignment with the card that you just pulled.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I remember. Your inner light is the only thing that no one can take away, because it stays with you no matter what is bugging you, or what crisis you're facing, or what challenges come your way. So what that card is telling you to do is to live more consciously,
Absolutely.
more
Be present
love
in the
more
moment.
deeply. Yeah, be
Mhm.
more present in the moment.
Mhm.
Connect more authentically with
Mhm.
yourself, your guides, and others, right?
Mhm.
The present is where your power lies, not
Damn
what's
right.
happened in the past. It's
Mhm.
the present that matters. The focus is now. So
Power of now.
the
That's
power
right.
of now.
Mhm.
And that's where that lion comes in, that courage. And I'll tell
There
you,
you
I had a
go.
dream about being in a pack of lions. I dreamt, well, I think it was last night, I had a dream that I was on an African safari. And I was experiencing the animal kingdom. And I came across a pack of lions. I don't think they call them a pack, they call them something else.
Pride.
But it was the male and his female, and he had there were other baby lions. I don't know, it was a whole pack of them. And they welcomed me. They greeted me. They surrounded me, and I wasn't fearful of them. And they befriended me, and they took me back to their lair. And the big male laid down next to me, put his head on my knee, and I was petting the lion. But there were hunters outside, and the hunters were trying to track down this lion and his herd. And all of a sudden, I developed the courage to confront those hunters and tell those hunters, back off, leave these lions alone. They're not harming anybody. They're living their life naturally,
Mhm.
you know? And so I came to the defense. And so in analyzing that dream, it was about me finding that inner courage to overcome any fears, to not be fearful, but to relax in my power of the present moment, and also with who I love and care about. But it was also very more about me stepping into my new role now of getting rid of the fears and being able to recognize them when they're there now, because I have a habit of not knowing when I'm in fear.
Mhm.
Seriously.
Mhm.
And I've had to have other people call it out to me, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And I get real, you know, but then within 24 to 48 hours, I've processed it, and I'm like, oh, wow.
Mhm.
Wow. So that was a really great card, Sophia. Thank you, because it really
Yes.
does remind you to be that lion within.
Mhm.
Lion or lioness.
Yes,
You know?
most definitely.
Oh, and
Awesome.
I would say to folks, because I know you're trying to wrap it up, Laurie,
Mhm.
keep your eyes open. Eyes open.
Mhm.
So that from Star Trek. And be a brave heart.
Yep.
Be a brave heart. And then you can step into your awakening and take yourself on this journey and do the purging necessary to get rid of any of these anxieties, fears, frustrations at work, feelings of being overwhelmed, feelings of being consumed by others, and worrying about every little thing that someone thinks or says or feels or projects towards you. Because remember, that's their projections, not yours.
Yeah.
So start living your life, not everybody else's.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Yep. And I love what Charles said here. It's just really simple, but very well stated. Live fearless and courageous.
right on, Charles.
And that's really what it's all about. Have the strength and the courage and find the truth of the fear and the emotions that you're dealing with, those negative emotions. Yes. I love that,
And
Charles.
Steve's comment too.
Yep. Yeah, and I just posted that too. The key is to be in the now. Many people live in the past or future. Now is all there is. Yep. My watch says now. It's now. It's now. It's now. It's now.
Hey,
I love that.
Nick, if you don't want your fears manifested, they can't be fears. You have to be indifferent to the subject. That is the secret.
Yeah,
Energy
I posted
feeds.
that.
Yeah, energy feeds manifestation. Fear is a type of energy. No energy starves it out. preventing it to manifest.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well
Nick.
said. Well said, brother.
Right on.
I like it. I like it. Cool. All right.
All right.
Well, let's get to the final thoughts. Grandpa Brian, I'll give you final thoughts to start.
Live your life to the fullest. Don't live in fear, doubt, anger, regret, hurt, and don't be afraid of the unknown, because I tell you what, when I started this journey, the unknown, it is the most beautiful, just greatest experience that going into the unknown that I have ever had. So don't ever be afraid of the unknown, because it could be the most greatest experience that you could ever have.
I like that.
And if you aren't doing anything tomorrow night, I'm going to be on with Lucky Stone 888. We're going to be talking about solving the problems with a new mindset. Basically, what we're going to be talking about is don't be in the same mindset that created the problem.
Yeah.
So just start thinking from a different perspective. So it should be an interesting show tomorrow night.
Awesome. Lucky Stone 888, right?
And
Yep.
what time? What
Perfect.
time, Brian?
8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. Great. Awesome. Look forward to it. I want to comment. I don't always watch the video when it's live, but I do know what's going on over there, and I do check it out. So thank you for that.
Same old.
Sophia, my dear, final
Yes.
thoughts for tonight. And thank you for joining us, by the way. We greatly
Yeah, no
appreciate it. I
problem.
know how busy you are. You're a busy, busy gal.
Take naps in between the events.
Yes.
What Spirit's impressing upon me is progress. And resonating with that Knight of Wands is none of us truly ever arrive, you know, so just pursuing, unfoldment and kind of like what everybody's been saying here, live in the now, do what we can to be fearless. And then just enjoy it, make the best of it.
Love it. Nice. Theresa, final thoughts for you? Okay.
Find that lioness within.
That's after the show. Stop it.
Oh no.
You bad
I'm living
girls.
in the now.
Oh my goodness.
No, I said all there is to say. I already had my say. Thank you. I jumped ahead. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
But I really appreciate everything that the rest of you have contributed to this discussion, especially those in chat. Steve, Nick, Charles, all of you, Scotty Boy, all of you. Yeah, it's been very positive, and I think if anyone watching this, and this is to the many viewers, I mean, we get anywhere from 130 on up to 180 views. And so many of you aren't hanging out in the chat. We don't know what you're thinking, but I have a really good feeling that you wouldn't keep coming back if you weren't getting something from it.
Yeah.
So what Laurie and I are doing here with the human curriculum, and it was her genius that popped up with it, is we know the world is changing, and we know that there's a lot of stuff going on. And we also know that there's a lot of things that we can be focusing mindfulness on, and self-improvement is the biggest thing, because if everybody does it, and if everybody turns on to their own inner being, their own divinity and their own sovereignty and their own personal power of love and light and energy, then the world can change along with it, or we can at least help. And I think that's why so many of us are here right now, experiencing what we're experiencing, and we're here to help. Channels like ours and Lucky's and others are here to help, waking you up to the possibilities that lie within your own heart and mind and soul. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of it. And we look forward to next week's program, right, Laurie?
Awesome. Yes, and I would like to close with a prepared statement. So my closing transmission is, Fear isn't the enemy. Fear is a compass. It points towards the places where we are still becoming ourselves. When we stop running from what scares us, we stop attracting it because we're no longer vibrating at that frequency of avoidance. We're vibrating at the frequency of truth. And that's really important. So if this episode opens something up for you, share it with someone who's been stuck in a repeating pattern. And if you want more grounded conversations like this, stay tuned. And I'd like to thank everybody again in chat, everyone who's watching, who joined us live, who will see this in the future. We hope this helps you in some shape, way, or form. It's important to discuss this kind of stuff and really put it out there. So hopefully it helps. It helps you guys. So that's the goal. And I want to thank Grandpa Brian for joining us tonight. Sophia, always a pleasure. Theresa, really appreciate you. And also Jasmine and Nick, who couldn't be here tonight. They got some things going on. We send love to you as well. And we missed having you on the panel. And we look forward to when you rejoin us. So
thank you, Steve. Send an email to Scotty. Make sure he's okay. Thank you. All right.
Uh-oh. I think Laurie froze up on us.
That's okay. She'll come back or she'll finish it out. Or we can just go ahead and pop out,
All right, Mom.